So guys, these are problems from 2.2, 21 through 30. I'm going to do a handful of them, okay? And since all these angles are in radian and they are multiples of pi or pi and a half, you don't even need a fancy unit circle. Just something like this will work. Let's try 21, okay? So 11 pi over 2. Now, 11, I'm doing 21, okay? 11 pi over 2. Well, let me do it like this. Let's work on 21. I'll try to explain it as we go. And this is how we're going to tell you the number that we are working on. At this point, we are working on 21. Now, 11 pi over 2, your calculator will tell you is 5.5 pi, which is not really that bad. So you start here, positive 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, and a half. You're going to be landing here. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of these black marks. All I care about is that final point. So I'm going to put it here. Now, sine of this angle is simply the y coordinate. The y coordinate is -1. So 21 is -1. Done. It's really not bad at all. The y coordinate is the sine value, and the y coordinate of this point is -1. So the answer to 21 is -1. Hope that makes sense. Let's do one more. Let's do 22. Okay, I'm doing two of the basic ones. So I'm going to set this guy aside. We're working on 22 and 7 pi. Okay, positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You land here. And we don't care about these marks anymore. Now, at this point here, what is the x coordinate? That's also -1, happens to be -1. So I'm going to write -1 is my answer to 22 as well. Done. We're done with 21, 22. Okay, let's do one with 10. These are actually fairly easy. So 6 pi, I think you're getting it, hopefully. 6 pi is 1 pi, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You land here, okay? You land here, and this is the point you're after. And remember, guys, tan is sine over cosine. Let's write down both here properly. The x coordinate is 1, and the y coordinate is 0. Okay, tan is sine over cosine. Sine is the y coordinate, and cosine is the x coordinate. So it's going to be 0 over 1, and 0 over 1 is 0. So 23, answer is 0. I hope it's making sense. Now I'm going to skip 24. To do 24, all you have to do is find tan of 7 pi over 2 and find the reciprocal of that. But let's do this one. Let's do 25. Okay, 11. Now, interestingly enough, they're being nice to us. Look at 25. Look at 25. To find cosecant 11 pi over 2, if you knew sine 11 pi over 2, your answer will be the reciprocal of that. But guess what? We did sine 11 pi over 2, didn't we? And the answer was -1. So for 25, answer will be reciprocal of -1, which happens to be -1 as well. Done. Done with 25. So let's pause there a little bit. I'll do a couple more with negative numbers. Okay? All right, let's work on 27 right here. 27 is negative 3 pi over 2. Where do we land? If we go negative, we go clockwise. 3 pi over 2 is 1.5. So we'll land here, 1.5. And we're going to be right here. And what's the cosine value of this point? In other words, what's the x-coordinate of this point? The answer is 0. So 27 is 0. Done. Let's try 28. I think you're getting it. Sine negative 3 pi. Where do we go? If I start here, 1, 2, 3, negative 3 pi. I land here. What's the sine of negative 3 pi? That's simply the y-coordinate of this point, which turns out to be 0, as you can see. And we'll try to do the next two, and we'll wrap it up. Let's work on 29. Okay, secant of negative pi. I need to first find cosine of negative pi. Remember that, guys? Secant and cosine are reciprocals of each other. So cosine of negative pi. Again, don't worry about secant yet. Find cosine of negative pi. Let's do it here. Okay, cosine of negative pi. So negative pi is this. Okay, I land here. And the cosine value is -1, right? And if cosine value is -1, what's the reciprocal of -1? I'm looking for secant of negative pi. The reciprocal of -1 is -1. So the answer is 29 is -1. And the last one. I know I skipped one or two, but I hope you'll be able to wrap it up. 29. We did 29. Let's work on 30. Well, -3 pi. Where do we land? -3 pi, 1 pi, 2, and 3. Again, we land here. We land here. I don't need this. For tangent, I need to know the sine and cosine. So let's do it carefully and let's write it down here. The sine value, the x-coordinate is -1. The y-coordinate is 0. And what is the tan of -3 pi? It's simply, let's write this down here. It doesn't hurt. We're working on number 30. Okay, guys? Tan -3 pi is simply sine -3 pi over cosine -3 pi. All right. Now, from this coordinate right here, sine is 0, cosine is -1, 0 divided by -1 is 0. So the answer to 30 is 0. That's the answer. So I did, out of 10, I did 8 of them. I hope that helps. I'm going to stop recording right here, right now.